Chloe, you said a few days ago that you wanted me to visit your dad. Could you tell me the hospital he was staying at? I can't go if I don't know where I'm going.
Are you thinking about seeing my dad? I was planning to go in 2 days if you want to come with me. Were you planning to go by yourself?
I was thinking about just going with you. I just thought it might be wise if I knew where he'd been hospitalized. You never know if it might come in handy. Work has gotten me so busy I hardly have time to visit family.
I'm glad you're thinking of coming. When I told you about this a few days ago, you didn't really seem like you cared that much. It's not really like you ask where he's staying either. Not that I'm judging you, I just wasn't expecting this.
You thought I wasn't worried? It may not look like it, but I have been worrying about your father too, Chloe. I guess you couldn't tell from how I reacted.
Well, it's good you decided to come. I wanted you to be there when I went. But are you sure you'll be able to come in 2 days? I thought you'd be busy with work then. How are you going to get around that?
I have a lunch break I can use. It should give me enough time to stop by and say hello. I don't think I'll be able to stay long, but I say it's better than nothing.
Great. I'll let Dad know to expect you. Thanks again for doing this for him. I just hope that he's awake when we come to visit him. He's been in rough shape recently.
Wait, he's still sleeping in the afternoon? It must be pretty serious if he has to sleep during the day. Has it been like this for a while now?
Yeah, his condition hasn't really improved since he was hospitalized. Nowadays, he spends more time sleeping than he does being awake. When I've gone to visit him in the past, if I don't tell him in advance, there's a good chance he'll be sleeping when I show up. The doctor said they aren't surprised about it. He said it's a sign that he doesn't have much energy.
Oh, that sounds really bad. I'm so sorry to hear that. I've told my parents about it too, and they're just as concerned as you and I are. I just wish he'd start getting better. That's what the hospital is supposed to be for people to recover.
Thanks, Jared. I'm glad to know that you're looking out for him.
Oh, that reminds me. There was a favor I wanted to ask you. It has to do with when we go visit him. Can I ask you about it now? It has to deal with our financial situation.
Our financial situation? I don't really know what you're getting at. What does my dad have to do with our finances?
It's just that I was wondering if he could lend me some cash. I'm in a bit of a rut right now. I'm going out of my way to see him, so I thought it might be a good time to talk about it with him. But it'd be weird if I were to ask him before you told him about it. Could you put in a good word for me?
You want to borrow money from my dad? But why? What are you going to use it for? Or should I be asking, what did you buy? Did you overspend and now you need to borrow from my dad?
It wasn't my fault, I swear, but I've run into a bit of money problems. Well, to be accurate, my parents ran into a money problem. They've got a bit of debt that they've racked up. I heard that your dad has a pretty good amount of money in his bank account. I was wondering if he'd be willing to pay off my parents' debt, as a favor.
I don't think it's really appropriate to be asking him to do this right now. He's in enough pain dealing with his condition that he has to sleep all day. Don't you think it's uncalled for to be talking to him about money? This isn't the time for this.
I wouldn't be asking this if it wasn't an emergency. You don't know how bad it is. My parents need to pay it off before it's too late. They have to get it taken care of before things get out of control.
But that's their situation. It has nothing to do with my dad. I know it might be tough for them, but that doesn't mean my dad has an obligation to pay their debts. If they want help paying off their debts, they should be asking their family, not mine. I don't mind helping in whatever way I can, but asking my father for money is going too far.
If it was something that could be taken care of that easily, I wouldn't ask your father this.
Just how much debt do your parents have then? Can you give me a number?
I asked about it the other day, and my parents said it was about $25,000.
They have that much debt? If I remember correctly, didn't you say they weren't the best spenders? You said they weren't good at managing money. It is because of that. Or where did all this debt come from?
It's not their fault. I don't remember saying anything about them not being good spenders. You think I'd think that of my parents? They're smarter than you think they are.
I wish I could believe you, but I've seen it for myself. They don't plan ahead at all. Either way, I don't want you bringing this up to my father. He doesn't need to deal with this. So please don't bring it up with him when we visit. This is supposed to be about supporting him.
I know you're not gonna like hearing this, but can we please ask him about this? It's only gonna get worse if we don't.
No, Jared, we're there to comfort him in his time of need, not to use his credit card. Would you want this to happen if you were in his shoes? I know I'd be pretty angry if people visited me in the hospital only to ask for money. I have to put my foot down. I am not okay with this.
Okay. I won't bring it up with him when we go visit. But in return, could you talk with him in private about this? It doesn't have to be right away, of course, but it would be good if it were as soon as possible.
I'll talk to him about this when I think it's the right time, and now it's not the time. We're going to the hospital to cheer him up, okay? Please don't mention your parents' debt to him. If you can't do that for me, I'm going to have to go see him without you.
Fine, I got it.
Did you even listen to anything I said to you 2 days ago? I told you not to bring up your parents' debt in front of him, and yet you didn't even listen to me.
I'm sorry, okay? I know I probably shouldn't have done that. But you're responsible for this too, you know? If you would have talked to him before about this, it wouldn't have been like this. You didn't listen to me either.
That's because now isn't the time to be asking for charity from him. On top of asking him for money, you brought your parents with you to back you up? My dad didn't deserve to be ganged up on like that. What were you thinking bringing them here? It was supposed to be only you and me today.
It's their debt problem I'm trying to help them with. It only makes sense I'd ask them to come. If I'm trying to solve their problem, I want them here so they know what's going on.
It's their problem, but this visit was supposed to be about helping Dad, not begging him for cash. Do you realize how insensitive it is to bring your parents only for them to pester my dad? It made the whole visit so stressful. Are you at all embarrassed about today?
I told you earlier that this is a serious problem. I was only doing what I had to do. And even after all of our pleading, he didn't even offer to help us out one bit. Oh, he has disappointed me. I thought that he was a better man than that. He was meant to help, but he didn't even have any sympathy for my family.
What are you talking about? Saying you're disappointed in him. You didn't even tell my dad where all the debt was coming from. He's not going to lend you money when he doesn't even know what the cause of your parents' debt is. You have no right to complain when he only did what was common sense.
It's a family emergency. It doesn't matter how the debt was created. All that matters now is that we find a way to pay it off. The past is the past. Not only did your father ask where the debt came from, he asked if it even existed at all. Where the heck does he get off?
How could you get angry at him for this? You and your family were in the wrong. All you did was have a one-sided conversation trying to make him give you money. And when he tried asking a few simple questions, you ignored him and kept begging away. I wouldn't lend any money to you if this was the way you treated me.
He's the one being so stubborn. I thought he cared about his family. If he really cared about any of us, he would have given us the money without asking any questions. That's the right thing to do. Him asking all of these questions with all the money he has is so rude of him. It makes me sick that a man like him gets to be so rich.
Don't say that about my father. I told you I don't appreciate you saying things like that. I told you clearly that we would not be talking to him about your parents' debt. And after you broke your promise, you have the gall to get angry at my dad? It's insane.
Don't take his side on this. You know he's in the wrong. In the end, all he is doing is refusing to help people that need his money more than he does. And we are your in-laws, for God's sake. I am embarrassed to have him as a father-in-law. It's not a shock, though. They do say that money corrupts the heart. He goes to show it's true.
I can't stand the way you justify you and your family after what you said to him. If he's really that bad of a father-in-law, then why don't you stop being his son-in-law?
Stop being his son-in-law? What is that even supposed to mean? I couldn't do that even if I tried. I wish that I could after today, though.
There is a way. All you have to do is divorce me, and he's no longer your father-in-law. It's as simple as that.
Huh? Are you seriously suggesting that you and I get a divorce?
I saw a side of you yesterday that I have never seen before. It made me sick what you did yesterday. If you really want to stop being his son-in-law, then maybe it's best for everyone that we divorce.
Fine, but if you complain about regretting this later, don't come crying to me. Got it? I don't need you getting all emotional on me.
You don't have to tell me twice. I'll even get the papers ready so we can get this over with. I'll fill them out while you're busy at work. All you'll have to do is sign your part of the paperwork and we can end things in a few days.
If that's how it is, good. I've had enough of all of this. I'll sign the papers and never look back, so don't you dare complain about what happens next. You could end up on the streets for all I care, just don't get in my way. Hey, Chloe, you can't really still be mad about what I said, right? I'm tired of waiting forever for you to come home. Are you coming back or what? Tell me what's going on.
After everything you said a few days ago, you think I'd be coming back? You're crazy if you think I'm going to let slide what you said and did to me and my dad.
It's not like you're actually gonna divorce me, though. I know this is nothing but a bluff. I saw how you reacted the other day. You were panicked at the thought of us divorcing.
I was panicked because I got word that my dad had a turn of the worst and I was worried about him. It had nothing to do with the divorce.
You can say that, but I don't believe a word of it. You're not a good liar, Chloe. And this is what you get for trying to go up against me. You should have taken my side. Your dad probably got worse because of you. If you took my side, this wouldn't have happened.
Don't you dare blame me for my father getting worse. You were the one who stressed him out. And this isn't a lie. I'm going to divorce you.
You won't be divorcing me. I know you don't have the guts to do it. You know it's the wrong move. We both know better than that. Oh, I still love you, and I know that you still love me too. So don't go crazy over me doing nothing more than trying to help my parents. You'd be stupid to divorce me over something as little as this.
I don't have time for this. I've got my hands full looking after my dad. His condition could get even worse at any time. I have to be there if it does. Even if I wasn't planning to divorce you, I am not going to be heading home. My dad needs me now.
I know you must care about him, but it's been 3 days now. How long do you plan to be there? You should stop worrying so much and head home. Your presence there isn't going to change anything.
It's not about being there so he gets better. It's about being there in case he doesn't. The doctors told me I should be ready for the worst. That's exactly what I'm doing. If he were to need me there, I want to be there for him. I wouldn't be able to forgive myself. I am not leaving him.
But if you're not around, I don't have anyone to cook for me. Your father isn't the only one you need to worry about. I am tired of eating fast food. I want some real food. Oh, you know I'm not good at cooking, and I don't feel like learning to cook now. So why don't you help the person that you can actually help instead of wasting time?
You want me to come home because you want me to cook for you? What is wrong with you? My dad is fighting for his life, and all you seem to care about is that you have someone to feed you? I thought you said you cared about my father. Was that nothing but a lie?
Can you blame me for acting this way? He didn't even offer to help with my parents' debt. I'm not going to care about your father if he's not going to help care about my parents. It is that simple. If he wanted my sympathy, he should have thought about more than himself.
You really only care about yourself. How about you stop criticizing my father and look in the mirror for one?
No matter what way you look at it, your dad was the one who was being selfish, not me. Don't tell me to look in the mirror. If anyone should be looking in the mirror, it's your dad. He's already that old and still doesn't care about others. And my parents told me the exact same thing. I can't help but agree with them after what happened. If he doesn't end up making it, don't even bother inviting us to the funeral.
You won't go to the funeral over a dispute over money? This is my father we're talking about, for God's sake. You really won't attend because he won't give you charity?
Just because I married you doesn't mean I have any duty towards your father. He's your father, not mine. Did you expect me to care about someone that I don't even know that well? And from what I've seen from him, he is nothing but a greedy dirtbag. I bet he wants his money buried with him.
I can't believe you right now, Jared. I won't let you say this about my father.
He is not my concern anymore. I can say whatever I want about him now. Anyways, get back home already. I'm tired of having the house all to myself. You know I don't have all the time in the world to take care of the house. It's supposed to be your job. So do your part as my wife. You're doing nothing but holding me back.
I've got to go. There's something that came up. I can't talk now.
Something came up? What are you talking about? And if it has to do with your father, forget about it. I'm the one you should be prioritizing.
My dad is in trouble. The doctor said they need me in his room. If they need me, then I have to go. I have no time to respond to you. If you really care about him, you better get over here too. It sounds pretty serious.
You think I'd come? I thought I made myself perfectly clear with what I said earlier. I wasn't even planning to go to the funeral if he died. Do you think I'd show up for something like this? As soon as you're done wasting time, get back home already. I'm tired of all of this. I am sorry things aren't working out for your father, but you can't blame me for my lack of sympathy. Chloe, it's been a week now. What is going on? I heard your dad didn't make it, but I haven't heard much besides that. What have you been doing? Have you been taking care of distributing his things or something?
What do you want, Jared? I thought you didn't care about my father.
Hey, I may not worry about your father, but I'm worried about you. It's been forever since you've come to. I just wanted to check in and see if you're done with everything yet. It's a real bother that you haven't come home yet. I miss having you around. Taking care of the house isn't something I'm used to. I thought that you'd be done with all of this by now.
Why would I help you with the house when you didn't help me at all with my father? I knew you were upset, but I had faith you'd at least show for the funeral. But I guess you're a man of your word.
What part of what I said did you not understand? When I say I'm not going, it means I am not going. But at least this is all over. We can finally start having things return back to normal. And you'll finally be getting back home. Any longer, and I might have forgotten what it was like to live with you. Oh, I am dying to have some of your cooking again. This time has been tough for me too, you know?
As if you would understand how tough this has really been for me. All of your behavior was really serious then. You truly didn't care at all what happened to my father.
How many times do you have to make me repeat myself, Chloe? This is getting ridiculous. By the way, just how much did you get from the inheritance? From what I heard, you were getting like $1 million from the will. Is it true? Was it that much?
It hasn't even been a week and you're already asking about that? And where did you get that kind of information from? I don't remember telling you a thing.
I got in touch with one of your relatives. I was curious about it, and I figured you wouldn't be in the mood to tell me. But wow, $1 million? That is huge. Oh, I am so excited for us. We'll be able to pay off my parents' debt and still have plenty to spend on ourselves. We could sell our place and start again at a completely new place. Oh, what do you say? How does that sound?
I am not going to buy a new home with you, Jared. Don't you remember? I'm divorcing you. Or should I say I already did divorce you. We aren't going to see each other anymore. Which means you won't be getting help from me for your parents' debt. That's all on you now. I'm not paying off the debt after what you and your parents did to my dad.
What are you talking about? There was never a divorce. I know you're upset, but it's about time you think about forgiving me. Your threats of divorce are starting to get old.
Did you forget that you signed the divorce? I already turned them in the other day, too. You don't have a say in this now, not after you signed on the dotted line.
What? But what about what I want? I still have no intention of divorcing you, Chloe. I thought you were bluffing. That's why I signed the papers in the first place.
That doesn't change the fact that your signatures were on the papers. It's the same as saying you want to divorce, no matter how you actually feel. You should have taken me seriously if you didn't want this to happen.
So you are mad at me then? Isn't that unfair? It was nothing but a visit to the hospital that went south. It's no reason to divorce me. I'll apologize for what I said, okay? I'll make you see that I'm sorry about this. Oh, just don't turn in the papers. I love you, Chloe.
It's too late. I turned them in while I was away. There's nothing you can do. I gave you one last chance and waited for you to come to the funeral, but you were a no-show. That was the last straw for me. I turned them in the next day.
What are you thinking? You can't do this. You just want the inheritance all to yourself. That's what this is about, isn't it? I won't let you get away with your selfish plans.
It is not selfish to not want to share the money with you. You're the one who's motivated by greed. So shut up and stop complaining.
Just pay my parents' debt you have an obligation to. You have plenty of money now. As if you'd need all of it, so just pay it up.
Are you stupid, Jared? I don't have any duty to pay your parents. It's their debt, not mine, not yours.
I wanted to use the money to help them. But then you went and divorced me without my permission. You owe it to them. You owe it to me.
No, I don't. My duty to pay you went away when I divorced you. The inheritance was given out after I divorced you. That means it's all mine.
Then let's get back together. We can still fix this if you let me remarry you. Oh, I still love you, Chloe. This whole incident doesn't change my feelings. This whole thing doesn't have to ruin our relationship.
I'd rather die than have to remarry you. I've seen how you try to use people. You just use me for the money.
I wouldn't do that to you. Haven't you seen how I've treated you up to now? And I am a kind person. I tried helping my parents with their debt.
Oh, how very thoughtful of you.
What? Are you gonna say that you don't love me? I know you do, so remarry me. We can live a happy life again if you just come back.
I wouldn't be happy with you. I know what you're really like, Jared. You tried hiding your true self, but you finally slipped up.
I was concerned about my parents. That doesn't mean I'm a bad person. Why can't you see that? I wanted you, Chloe. Don't do this to me.
Do you really need me, or do you need my father's money? From how I see it, you only want to use me as a credit card. I'm not going to let you treat me how you treated my father. After today, you and I are done. Good luck paying off your parents' debt. I blocked Jared's number right after I sent my last message. It was lucky I found out about his true colors. Things could have gone differently if he wasn't so careless. I went to get my things from our house while he was at work and didn't even have to see him again. And with my father's old house sold off, he has no way to find me now. From what I heard, he moved back in with his parents after I left. He moved out of our old place to help pay off the debt. But we were renting an apartment, so he didn't get any money from moving out. And with $25,000 being no small sum, it won't be easy to get that kind of money. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed it, leave a like and subscribe to see more videos like this in the future.